Hello, everyone, and welcome again. It's me, AT, and Jerry Taylor presenting the Master Plan. Today, I should say, on this fine Sunday morning, welcome to Daylight Savings Time. Hopefully, you caught up with me in Daylight Savings Time. And yesterday, at this time, was 9 o'clock. But today, Daylight Savings Time, you jump ahead, it's 10 o'clock. And we're going to enjoy each other's company for the next hour. And what I'm going to be talking about is combine wide receivers. I talked about this on the FSP show on Saturday afternoon with Mr. FSP, Mr. Gardner. And I thought the wide receiver class of this year was not that good. Not as good as the running backs, and quite naturally, there's a nice crop, especially at the top of the food chain of quarterbacks. But wide receivers is a different story. And for the next hour, we're going to be talking about that. And if you indulge me, I'll talk about the wide receivers. Now, I have a list of wide receivers here from 1 to 12. A list of wide receivers from 1 to 12. You may not be able to see them that well, but I do have a list here, okay, that I'm flashing in front of me, okay? Then I'm going to be talking about the wide receivers. And hopefully we'll get Mr. FSP to join me, and we'll talk about those said wide receivers. Now, I'm only going to 12. I mean, there's quite a bit more wide receivers, but I have 12 wide receivers I want to talk about. And out of those 12 wide receivers, one of them has pretty much caught the eye of quite a bit of people, including myself. And we're going to talk about him. Even though I don't have him at number 1, he could possibly emerge as a top wide receiver and the first wide receiver taken off the board. But we'll talk about that when we get to it. But we'll go to the, number 12 wide receiver coming out of Cincinnati. And we'll talk about him starting off. How about that? And hopefully, you enjoy this content. First, guys, and if you've listened to me before, now I have this list, and this list is all type of wide receivers. Short, medium, and tall. Tall meaning 6'3", 6'4", maybe 6'5". Medium meaning 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", somewhere around there. And short meaning 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", maybe 5'10". That's meaning short. And this is a mixture of those wide receivers. Okay. The first wide receiver is a 5'9", 182-pound senior out of Cincinnati. And he now, if you get a a wide receiver that is 5'9", 182 pounds. He better be fast. He better be really fast. And in my opinion, if you have a 5'9", 182 pounds, and I'm going to reiterate that. Oh, come on. I didn't do that, did I? No, I didn't. 5'9", 182 pound wide receiver. He should run a 4.2 and change, 4.3, and at the least a 4.4. Because in order to make up for the height difference, 5'9", 182 pounds, you got to be able to outrun people. And this guy is a 4.4 guy. Trey Tucker, 4.4 guy, runs a, like I said, 4.4, and broad jumps 10.4, which is really good. 37.5 vertical jump, and like I said, 4.4. Now his comparison, Tucker's slight frame and short arms work against him, but his speed and quickness give him the ability to uncover on all three levels. He's going to struggle to make contested catches, because he's short. Whether it's a defender or the ground doing the contesting, while he can stretch the field, he might be most effective at the possession target underneath and gadget option capable of making plays with the ball in his hands. His specific attributes create a higher ceiling but lower floor as a pro. Now you got to understand this, okay? 5'9", 100, and I know I keep saying this, but I got to stress this. In wide receivers that are short in stature, and they got to be able to be able to run advantage of their speed versus not having the height. And if he goes up against taller corners or corners about his size, he's going to have an issue because he like I said, he's only, and I keep on saying this, and I know it's ad nauseum. I keep on saying it, at 5'9", 182 pounds, he's not big enough. Or I shouldn't say he's not tall enough and big enough, meaning 182 pounds, to go against really good corners. Gadget player, maybe a punt returner, maybe a I wouldn't say change of pace, but could be I wouldn't put him in the slot. I think he'd get eaten up in a slot. But Trey Tucker from Cincinnati is my 12th wide receiver on this list. At number 11, he hails from one of my favorite schools that I like, East Carolina. And you know who? East Carolina. Who? Yeah, East Carolina. One of my favorite schools. 6'1" and a half. 224 pounds. This is really not nice size. 32-inch arms, 10 and a quarter hands. Ran the he didn't run. He did not run in a combine. He did not run in the combine. But 224 pounds. This guy can take an NFL beating. His NFL comparison is Josh Morgan. It's easy to look at the lack of route separation. Hold on a minute here. It's easy to look at the lack of route separation, play speed, and question whether C.J. Johnson can be anything more than a zone beater in the NFL. But that evaluation misses a lot. Johnson might see more contested catches than you would prefer, but he's also built to win them. He's physically strong, 224 pounds, and plays to his size while utilizing every natural ball skills to beat opponents to the football. He's often forced out of bounds as a runner because tacklers struggle to bring him down. Johnson is a possession slot receiver in need of better route running. His tools and competitiveness will give him an advantage in a battle for a wide receiver 3-4 spot. His strengths, and I'll give you his strengths. Big frame, powerful base. Imposes his size and play strength inside the route. Hand usage to elude press and create late catch separation. Possesses high-level ball skills and body control. Tracks the ball with poise and positioning. Natural hands catching with sticky mitts. Big reliable target as a zone beater underneath. Fully grown nightmare to try to tackle after catch. And his weaknesses are below average acceleration off the line of scrimmage. Sees a high percentage of targets contested. Defensive backs rarely shaken at the top of his routes. Lacks desired level of quickness in and out of breaks. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he didn't run on his combine. Did everything else but run on the combine. Okay. In fact, he didn't do anything. Let me put it that way. He did not do anything. I apologize. I thought he did. He did not do everything. Okay. Let's move on to the next guy. At number 10, hails out of Stanford. Okay, hails out of Stanford. He's going to be a wide receiver 10 on my list. And let's talk about this guy. 6'3". This is a tall receiver. 235. This is a nice tall receiver. Ran a 4.54. I'm not loving the speed, but it's 6'3", 235. Okay. I prefer, quite naturally, you prefer a wide receiver to run a little quicker to get to offset the type of corners that he's going to go up against. I'm talking about Elijah Higgins from Stanford. His comparison is Jordan Reed, if you remember Jordan Reed. Draft grades for Higgins could vary depending on how teams envision using him in their offense. While teams might see him as a big possession receiver with limitations, he appears to have the necessary tools to become a dynamic F tight end with the ability to work all three levels of the field. Higgins has average ball skills, but can run a more robust route tree than most tight ends. Also, he has the frame and technique to be an adequate run blocker in space. He might never be more than a backup at receiver, but could blossom for an offense ready to plug him into two tight ends. So he's big enough, but small enough to be a wide receiver and a slash tight end. He's got that versatility that, depending on what team he would go to, if a team picks him up, how they want to use him as a tight end or a wide receiver. Sorry about that. I didn't realize. I should have known my mic wasn't correct, but it is what it is. Anyway, that's Elijah Higgins, a Stanford wide receiver / F tight end. All right, let's move on to the next tight end. We're going to run right through these. At number 9, coming out of Mr. FSP's school, Oklahoma, and he's a junior wide receiver, 5'11", 183 pounds. 5'11", 183 pounds. Okay, I can accept 5'11". Anything shorter than that, it's an issue. 183 pounds, he's on the slight side. I would prefer to put him on about 17 more pounds. Put 200 pounds on his frame. Give me 200 pounds on his frame. Now, even though he ran a 4.38, which is great speed at the combine, 200 pounds is a 4.4, which is fine. Which is fine. He doesn't have a comparison, but 4.4 at 200 pounds or 4.38 at 183 pounds. Mims is a long striding wideout who will primarily line up inside. He has the potential to be moved around to mismatch speed deficient coverage. He ran a limited route tree at Oklahoma, but he has the athletic qualities to expand on it at the next level. He's athletic in space and dangerous with ball in his hands, but he's likely to see the 50-50 throws tilt in the other direction. He can work on all three levels of the field and is an above average punt returner. Mims has just average size and strength, but his ability to create explosive plays could push him into a day 2 selection and a starting role in the future. His strengths are ability to line up from anywhere on the field and find catches. Averaged 19.5 yards per catch for his career. Long strider with dangerous build-up speed. Locks in focus to track and adjust to deep throws. Smooth operator getting through his routes. Run after catch ability to create first downs. Decisive punt returner with quick downhill trigger. 5'8", 183 pounds. I would, like I said, prefer to have he run the 4.38 at 183 pounds. Give me 200 pounds on him. Give me a little bit more weight and size on him. And which the NFL can do, and some coaching. And this kid could be more than just a punt returner. Weaknesses are schemed wide open for several touchdowns during his career. Slightly below average winning contested battle downfield. Needs to tighten up route running underneath. Limited catch radius to scare off-frame throws. Will cut slant short from the time to time. You can't be doing that in the NFL. You can't cut off certain routes. Your offensive coordinator, your wide receiver coach, and especially your quarterback will not appreciate that. All right? Let's move on to the next at number 8. Hails out of Mississippi. Hails out of Mississippi. 6'2". Now we're talking here. 6'2", 220. And before I look at his 40 time, I'm saying that he's got to run 4.5 flat. 4.5 flat. Anything after that, I got an issue. He ran a 4.46. 10 feet 9 inch broad jump. Bench press, 22 reps. I'm liking that. He's got some strength to him. We're talking about out of Mississippi, Jonathan Mingo, 6'2", 220. Comparison is Anquan Bolden. Anybody knows anything about Anquan Bolden? He was a tough cover. Didn't, and this guy has 4.4 speed. Anquan Bolden definitely didn't have a 4.46 speed, but he's got 220 pounds on that 6'2" frame. And his comparison is Anquan Bolden, meaning the tough wide receiver, meaning he's a big, strong slot receiver possessing the mental and physical toughness to outperform his speed limitations. Now, 4.46, I wouldn't consider that limitation on his speed. The career production is nothing special, but it's clear he's put time and effort into his craft. He runs crisp, well-paced routes and ramps up his focus when it's time to go get the football. A lack of separation burst and long speed could make for more contested catches, but he has the body type and willingness for that work. Mingo can get tough yards after the catch and is above average blocker. He has the skill level and demeanor to become a starting slot receiver for teams using 11 personnel. That's 3 wide receivers as their base offense. I'm interested in this kid. I'm interested in this kid. Him going to the next level, be a slot wide receiver as their base offense, 3 wide receivers. You can go to the Rams. You can go to the Chargers. Maybe even the Kansas City Chiefs. That would be a good landing spot, a few landing spots for this guy. Imposing size with muscular build. Easy to recognize he spends time on his craft. Adequate footwork to slip press. Finds his top speed quickly and continues to play at that speed. Routes are run with attention to detail. Works back aggressively to the throw. Stellar ball tracking and catch focus downfield. Makes use of his size and strength as a run blocker. Man, if you can get a wide receiver, 220 pounds, 6'2", wide receiver to run block, you take that every day of the weekend, twice on Sunday. Okay? Ordinary career production. Maybe that's because of the type of wide receiver or offensive scheme. Lacks juice out of breaks to separate from tight man underneath. Feet are efficient but lack suddenness. Unable to find a second gear to run down deep balls. Needs to get head around quicker on seam and over routes. Let me tell you something. Other than speed, and you can coach some of that to improve the type of speed and route running. Other than that, all these weaknesses can be coached. All these weaknesses can be he can get coached into. 220. This is a very good size and outlook for this young man, and I'm interested to see where he gets drafted and what team drafts him. He's going to get drafted. 6'2", 220, and can run a 4.46. Hell yeah, he's going to get drafted. All right? So let's move on to the next guy, which would be coming out of Wake Forest. And let me pull this guy up. Coming out of Wake Forest. And he would be, let me see this here. Wake Forest. There we go. We're talking about a wide receiver out of Wake Forest. I'll say that again. At 6'3.5", 198 pounds. Okay. Two pounds short of 200 pounds. A lean guy. This is a lean guy. But he ran 4.47 with a 35-inch vertical, 11 feet 1 inch broad jump. So he lacks some. I mean, I understand lacks some. He has some explosiveness to him. Plus the fact is 6'3.5", 198 pounds. We're talking about guy out of Wake Forest, A.T. Perry. His NFL comparison is Devontae Parker. Long wide out with quick feet and erratic hands who falls neatly to the category of higher ceiling, low floor prospect. Perry has been highly targeted and highly productive over the last 2 seasons. He's crafty but physical in the early stages of the route and flashes the ability to become a more dangerous route runner with additional work. That can be coached into him. He has the tools to work all three levels of the field, but his drops and ordinary ball skills sap some of the excitement surrounding his massive wingspan. Perry's inconsistencies can be frustrating, but his talent and traits makes him worthy of a day two selection as a potential wide receiver 2 or 3. And like I said, this guy is a tall wide receiver, 6'3.5", which I'm loving. Tall wideout with elite arm length, able to stutter and widen to beat press. Shows corners a variety of speeds early in the route. Resilience to play through grabby physical coverage. Loose ankles allow for tight cornering and cuts. Carries good long speed on vertical routes. Protects the throw by driving back on the throw. Feet to evade a tackle on side to break one. His weaknesses, I just listed his strengths. His weaknesses are shows inconsistent vertical push to threaten off-man coverage, takes him time to execute change of direction, lacks ideal coordination adjusting to the throw, allows football to get on top of him, leading to drops. He has 17 over the past 2 seasons. That's a lot. Below average feet for footwork on sideline grabs, unlikely to spring many runs with tough blocking. Let me put it this way. Those things can be coached. Sideline and the like can be coached. If he's a hard worker and pays attention to his coaching, he can be an elite wide receiver and exceed the NFL comparison of Devontae Parker. Let's move on to the next guy. And that I apologize for that. That's my bad. My bad. Apologize for that. Calm down. I'm going to get this together. It seems like I got the technical problem. I'm trying to bring Mr. FSP onto the show, and it seems like got technical difficulty here, and I'll try to clean it up if I can, and then get it together. Get it together. Bear with me for a minute here. Come on. All right, people. Give me a minute here, and we'll straighten this out. I'm screwing up here big time, but that's all right. I can fix it. There we go. All right. Anyway, this is what we're going to do. I posted to Mr. FSP, so he anyway. Let's go. What was I talking about? I was talking about A.T. Perry and what I thought of him. Long, lanky wide receiver. Like I said, he is a 6'3.5". What that? 198 pounds or something like that. That I was talking about. Yeah. So his weaknesses are things that can be coached, but he has the length, the speed, and the size to be a good wide receiver. Probably be able to exceed the NFL comparison, like I said, of Devontae Parker. So let's move on to the next guy that is going to be hailing out of LSU. Now, I know Mr. FSP is not a big LSU wide receiver because of injury concerns, but all depends on the height, weight, and speed of the type of wide receivers we're talking about, a player we're talking about from LSU. There's been some quality wide receivers coming out of LSU, and Mr. FSP would probably have a comment, even though I don't have his picture on here. It's all blank. Oh, there he is. You can finally talk about this wide receiver. What the heck happened to my picture? Hello. What the heck's going on here? Having technical difficulties here. Wow. Things are acting crazy here. All right, Mr. FFP, I'm going to bring you on right now.
Somebody having some problems. They don't know how to work. First of all, they late.
No, I'm not late.
You sent me the link at like 7:02. That's late. That's 2 minutes late.
Well, look, I'm not going to call you on it. I'm not going to do like some people, like, oh, you're late. I sent the link.
Well, you did that yesterday.
You were late,
and so are you.
No, I was on time. I was right there looking at you, and you were looking down at your whatever you were looking down. I'm just waiting for you to look up to realize that you had your co-host on, but you were not on time. But that's okay.
I mean, this show wasn't on time, and we having so many technical difficulties.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
Yeah, so
you're right. You're you don't have to call me. I've been calling myself on it because yes, I've been having some technical difficulties.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
We're talking about wide receivers from the combine.
Okay.
And this one, I know for the most part, you're not a fan of LSU wide receivers. I know that.
Okay? I mean, it's not that I'm not a fan of them. I mean, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, some additions. two pretty daggone good wide receivers. I'm not a fan of the team.
Okay. Well, we won't get into it right now. But this guy is a 5'11". He's right on the edge of a receiver. This is, in my opinion, a short wide receiver. A slight build. This reminds me almost of Odell Beckham Jr. 5'11", 195 pounds, out of LSU. Runs a respectable.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Runs a respectable speed at 4.5. His and this is a guy I couldn't remember yesterday. Terrace Marshall, who plays for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, tall guy.
Yeah, he's I think Terrace Marshall is like 6'5", 6'6", something like that. Anyway, This one is Kashawn Booty or whatever. 5'11", like I said, 195 pounds. That reminds me of Odell Beckham. And 4.5. Boutier's size, speed, and flashes over his first 2 seasons could be enough to override a very uneven 2022. He has inside-outside value, can be as adept at uncovering underneath as he can at stretching the field. He ran simple routes at LSU, but has the athletic ability to expand on that with more attention to detail. The ball skills are a little disappointing with too many drops showing up on tape. He's talented with the ball in his hands and has playmaking potential if he reverts to his previous form. He could work his way into an eventual wide receiver 2-3 role, barring any further issues with his right ankle. Okay. He's got some physical issues. His strengths are possesses desired blend of speed and size, rises to the occasion in the biggest games, vertical speed fueled by a strong second gear, strides to separation when working across the field, hip bend to break hard and open to quarterback quickly, twitchy plant and burst to uncover cleanly underneath, catch and run talent to turn short throws into chunk plays, weaknesses fails to stack and control defenders' chase tempo, doesn't extend and catch away from his body. Oh, that's not good. The body catcher, that's not good. Unconvincing drive phase for intermediate routes. Underdeveloped catch technique causes drops. Doesn't snap routes with much precision. Has 2 surgeries on his right ankle. Uh-oh. That's a injury waiting to happen for this guy. He may have habitual ankle problems going into the NFL. What's your thoughts on Mr. Boot?
I would say the comparison of Odell Beckham, who is an LSU guy, are somewhat accurate. So what I'm going to tell you is LSU didn't start off really hot this year.
Okay.
They became hot. And because they finally started, subscribing to Chip Kelly's system or working in not Chip Kelly. What's the dude that left Notre Dame? Is it Chip Kelly? It's a Kelly. I know that. It's a Kelly.
Yeah, it's a Kelly. Yeah.
And this guy was a very important part to that. But what I'll say is, given the right quarterback and the right system, well, not the right system, just the right quarterback, he can be Sterling Shepard.
Oh,
because he has decent. He might catch with his body more often than he does with his hands, but that's also because the ball it's not placed exactly where he might be able to just reach out and get it. Like you want a ball, if you're going to put your hands up to catch a ball, you want it in right here or right here. So neck, head area, not down in the chest or in the belly. That's what causes a lot of receivers to catch with their body. Folks don't realize that. They're just like, oh, they don't know how to catch. They catch with their hands. I mean, they catch with their body. And I'm like, that's not necessarily the case. they're catching that way because the ball isn't placed a certain way, and that's what he suffered through with LSU. So he'll come in like a Sterling Shepard and could turn into an Odell with some seasoning. So that's what I got on him.
Well, my problem is this: Sterling Shepard is not the most durable wide receiver, and neither is Odell Beckham Jr. And this guy had already had 2 ankle surgeries, which leads me to believe that ankle surgeries or some type of injury is in the making. It's going to happen because this, he had 2 surgeries. What's to say those 2 surgeries have solved your ankle issues? Okay, ankles are tricky. I've had ankle sprains
I would
before.
hope you've had ankles your entire life. That's what I would hope.
Why don't you just listen to what I just said before you even
Go ahead. You left it open. It open.
Yeah, but you didn't have to walk in. Let me put it that way. You didn't have to, but you did.
I didn't have to, man.
Yeah, but TSA made you do it. That's okay.
Here we go. Late technical difficulties. Don't know how to send a link and all that other stuff. But keep going.
Anyway.
Exactly.
Let's
go there.
You're right. Let's get past that.
Right, okay. All right.
Anyway, it reminds me of Odell Beckham Jr. He's had 2 ACLs. Okay. Another ACL, and his career is over, in my opinion. Another ACL, his career is over. I mean, he's injury prone. That's history. He's injury prone. This guy seems like he has a strong possibility of being the same, just a different part of his body. A knee versus an ankle. So, and what's important to a wide receiver? His lower part of his body.
Absolutely.
Hips down. And if he had ankle issues, you have a tendency to may not be as confident doing what he needed to do as a wide receiver on those ankles. I'm just saying. He seems like he'd be an injury risk, and I can guarantee you any team that may be interested in him are going to do the due diligence medically to see if he can stand up to the rigors of a 17-game season. So,
I can agree with that.
All right.
I mean, I can.
Okay. And then this next guy supposedly was the better of the wide receivers that came out last year, and had a big buzz in the combine. Didn't run a 40. He said he's going to do it on his pro day. 6'1", 196 pounds. In comparison to Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, this guy, Jackson Smith Najiba, okay?
Go ahead.
Seems like it's the real deal. Like I said, he didn't run in the combine. He had a vertical 35-inch vertical, 10.5 broad jump, and his comparison is Jarvis Landry.
You getting a lot of people compared to Jarvis, man.
Well, like I said yesterday on the FSP show, 1:00 Saturday afternoon, this wide receiver class I'm not impressed with. Okay? So Jarvis Landry is not an all-pro wide receiver, not a household name in wide receivers in the NFL, even though people do know about Jarvis Landry. But Jarvis Landry also was injury prone too. And his skills have been diminished. But this kid seems not to be like Jarvis Landry, but he is. Let me put it this way. Not the injury part of Jarvis Landry, the skill set when Jarvis Landry is healthy. Smith Najiba is a possession slot receiver who lacks the shake to separate underneath and the speed to run past defenses. He's tough in the middle of the defense and has proven he can make catches in congestion. He will need to fine-tune his route running to give himself his best chance to succeed at the next level. It is impossible to ignore his monster finish in the 2021 season. That's when Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave were with him, and he has a starting slot potential, but the speed concerns coupled with the injury-plagued 2020 season threatened to negatively impact his draft stock. I think he had, if I'm not mistaken, the reason why he didn't run, either he had ankle or lower leg issues and wanted to heal up more before his pro day. Averaged 192 receiving yards per game in his last 5 contests of 2021 season. Plays tough in the teeth of the defense as a zone beater. He elevates his catch focus when contested, leverages his intermediate break points, softens and extends his hands to meet the throw, tracks deep ball throws with poise and accuracy, athletic and smooth catching on the move, plays to a top speed throughout the route. His weaknesses are a vast majority of his production came in one season, rolled into his breaks with top-heavy momentum, lacks suddenness for separation in and out of breaks, below average top-end speed to win vertically, likely to be viewed as a slot-only option, lacks burst to elude after the catch. Talk to me about Mr. Smith Najibi or whatever, Najiba.
So what I'm gonna do is, this is a guy
Yeah.
that we can talk about over his career. A couple years ago, he was the guy that was getting a lot of touchdowns, that was doing a lot of things. That said, oh, he's going to be a great pro, right? People might have said it was because Garrett Wilson, but Garrett Wilson got hurt in the playoff game. But this kid came up big in the championship game. They lost, Ohio State did, but came up big.
Right.
He's one of those game time players. You can knock him on all types of things. But when he gets the ball in his hands, he's explosive. Just like Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice was never the fastest guy, but if Jerry Rice catches a skinny post, there aren't that many people that's stopping him because he's taking it to the house. You know,
before you mentioned Jerry Rice, when you talked about this kid that he catch the ball in his hands and can be gone, I immediately thought about Jerry Rice, and then you mentioned it. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Okay, but that's what I see. I see a kid that has the ability to do all these things and be dynamite, just straight dynamite with it. So that's just my opinion of him. He might not be the same now, but from what he was, he's very he'll be a good pro, a very good pro. I liken him to a current pro, unimposing but effective Slim Reaper. And Slim Reaper was a Heisman winner. Mr. Smith.
Really? Yeah. I know you're talking about. Really?
So I liken him to him.
Okay.
Meaning, just give him the ball, man, and let him do his work.
Okay. All right. This guy, I'm not high on 5'8", 5'7", 5'9" wide receiver.
Oh, okay. So you keep talking about how you're not high on somebody, but how tall are you?
I'm not a wide receiver. So I'm not. I've never played football. Okay, but competitively, never played football competitively. Okay.
What did you play? Baseball?
I played soccer.
Oh, what position? This is interesting. What position?
I played soccer. Well, at the time, they had halfback position. I played halfback in soccer.
Yeah. Really? They were kicking the ball over your head?
No.
Because the halfbacks, you're not a midfielder, so you're not going both ways.
Well, halfback, it used to be halfback. I mean, it used to be forwards, which were at the front of the and then the halfbacks, quite naturally, middle of the field, and then you had fullbacks, and then after the fullback there was the goalie. They don't play that. They don't call them that anymore. So I was a halfback. Halfback.
So you went both ways, huh?
Yeah. Halfbacks ran a lot. I'm
impressed.
So,
bruh, don't be a lot.
Yeah,
I know what a lot is.
and they had to
That's
be,
huge.
in my opinion, pretty versatile because they weren't forwards, they weren't fullbacks, so they had to be a little of both. So when you see this 5'7" person, I was pretty athletic at the time. Anyway, and extenuating circumstances caused me not to play football. So
I
I could have played. I
mean,
could have played
what
football.
height? Is that the extenuating
No,
circumstance?
no, no, no. I had a unmovable force preventing me from playing
Oh,
football.
mama.
Yes, yes,
I know what
yes,
that means.
yes. So I'm the second oldest son, and my oldest was a musician, and he wasn't interested in playing football. I was the first one, and Mama wasn't having me playing football, but and this is ironic. I had five other brothers or four other brothers, my younger brothers. They all played football.
Well, they were probably all like over 6 foot or close to 6 foot.
No, no, bro, no, they were all my size, and they played football.
Maybe she just didn't think you were tough enough. I'm just saying.
You know,
Why everybody else get to go and you don't?
well,
That
maybe
just,
I was Mama's favorite. Hello, okay.
oh, you a little bia. Okay.
No, no,
But
not
you,
even, not even, not even.
I'm just saying, hey,
Don't even go
mama's
there.
boy. It's
Don't
okay.
even go there.
I'm just saying you're a mama's boy. I'm a mama's boy. So
Okay.
but I'm better. Anyway,
Better.
your affinity
Anyway, the next
for
guy we're
taller
going to go to,
receivers.
we went off on a little tangent. I'm trying to bring you back now. This is a 5'8", 100, 5'8", 165 pounds. This is me when I was in high school. That's a fact. This is me when I was in high school. 5'8", 165 pounds. I was 5'7", 165 pounds when I was in high school. This guy is a wide receiver in college trying to get into the NFL. Come on, man. You ain't going to last.
Well,
Wide receiver out of Houston. Name is Tank Dell. He ran a 4.49. You better be quick if you're 5'6", 5'8", 165 pounds. And his NFL comparison is Darnell Mooney. Every second of the route is a separation opportunity for
speed
Tank
and
Dell.
yeah.
A touchdown making machine who pairs electrifying top end speed with twitchy short area quickness. His routes are fast and effective on all three levels with keen ball tracking talent, deep and sideline dotting footwork. Focused drops and contested catches are ongoing issues. You can't be a guy that drops the ball being at 5'8", 165 pounds. You got to have sure hands that are likely to continue at the next level. Dell is dangerous with the ball in his hands after the catch and as a game-changing punt returner, and that's exactly what I envision this guy as. His slender frame is a concern, but the explosive talent difficult to pass up for teams needing a big play weapon to stretch the field and mismatched coverages. His strengths are he scored 14 touchdowns in his final 9 games with Houston. But Houston likes to throw the ball a lot. That's an open offense. Keep distance from coverage to stay unencumbered in the route. Use his jab and crossover to beat coverage leverage. I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can get rid of coverage at the NFL level, being his height and weight. Gives few clues with snapping off the route. Very sudden, explosive out of his breaks. Able to separate on all three levels. Talented to track and adjust pass to make the catch. Very nice hands. Very nice with his feet near the sideline. Catch and go punt returner with game changing ability. That's what I see him exclusively at. Punt returner or kick returner, one or the other. Slender frame is his weakness, falls below NFL standards. Wasted motion in getting into press release. Drift into in breaking routes. I would at 165. I would drift. Dropped 21 passes over the last 2 seasons. That's horrible. Has struggled to
Yeah,
secure
that's not good.
throws through contact, below average catch radius. Because he's short. He's a short guy. He's got 30 and a half inch arms. His hands are 8 and 5/8. Come on, man. 5'8", 165 pounds tells me he's a kick returner, punt returner.
Well,
And
keep going.
talk to me. Come on,
I
dog.
was going to say, you wanted to talk. The dog's going to talk. Yeah, somebody your height want to talk. Same temperament too. He got the same temperament. But if you're going to compare him to Darnell Mooney, right? What I'll say is Mooney's explosive, but not a number one. You dig? And that means he has potential to play a lot in the NFL, but not be a featured guy. Now, 21 drops is a big problem, especially in the college ranks, where the thrower isn't probably 9 times. Like, what school did he go to again?
Houston.
Okay, so Houston did not have a flame-throwing quarterback. They had the kid he went to Miami last year or year before last, if I'm not mistaken, and he's a good quarterback, but he wasn't a beast throwing the ball. So that's a body catcher. Like you said, short arms, right?
Yes.
That's a body catcher. So in the NFL, that ball's coming hard and fast. And if you let it into your body, it's not going to be a good day for you or the offense, so to speak. So maybe a special teamer who shows up when they need a receiver to step up and then proves that, hey, I can play it just like Darnell Mooney, because Mooney was not slated to be a starting wide receiver, much less the number one guy. You know? So I agree with your assessment.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. He's gotten some hype too, but he doesn't have any height. 5'9", 182 pounds. I'm not a fan of sub 5'10" wide receivers. Not a fan of them, especially when they 182 pounds. Come on, man. 29, and you thought this other kid had short arms? This guy got 29 and a quarter arm length. His hand and a quarter. Okay. He may have decent sized hands, but he's got a small catch radius. Hailed out of Boston College. Zay Flowers ran a 4.42, okay, with a 10-foot, 7-inch bird jump and a 35.5 vertical jump.
That's really good.
Well,
that's really good.
5'9", 182 pounds. That's not good, in my opinion.
But that is, you see how tall how high he can jump and leap. That's pretty. 5'9". Okay, so right now I'll give you an example of a 5'9" guy. I know I've shrunk. I'm like 5'9 3/4 now, right? I used to be 5'10", but that is or was. Let me put it out. It was like the average receiver just like 5 years ago. Now, the average receiver is what you're talking about, like somebody that's 6 foot.
Yep.
Be quiet, Jerry Jr. Be quiet. But
you're so disrespectful, but that's okay.
I love you though. I love both of y'all. Both of y'all are my dogs. Both of y'all are one figuratively my dog, and you are my dog. But anyway, the 6 foot receiver is now somewhat the norm. Because if you recall, back in the day, there weren't that many 6-footers plus that were dominant. There were 6-footers that were specialty guys. You know, they weren't running across the middle. They were doing jump balls. So,
five. I understand he's got a 35.5-inch vertical, but in order to get to a 6-foot cornerback, he has to use all of that 35.5-inch vertical to get up to that 6 foot, 6'1" corner.
That's true.
You know,
That's
that
true.
corner is up there already. He has to get to that to make a contested catch. That's a problem. That in my opinion, that's a problem.
Uh,
And if you compare him to his NFL comparison is Travis Benjamin. Oh my God, really?
height wise, they didn't say talent wise. They talking
Yeah.
about height.
Slot target with plays with unbridled energy and immense confidence. Well, hopefully you got some confidence. Flowers is slightly built but can sidestep press and fly into action with above average acceleration and an attack demeanor. You have to be able to get past NFL press. You got to have it, and then plus you got to be able to use that 4.2 speed. Flowers has a tendency to rush his routes, but his ability to play with speed and move with athleticism makes him hard to read for defenders. His ball skills will shine brightly at times, but frustrating drops come with the package. Flowers has the skill set to become a valuable playmaker as a pro. His strengths: sudden feet to slip press and race ahead of coverage. Stair steps man coverage out of leveraging position. Routes are fast and maintain their momentum through turns. Lower body flexion to corner tightly at breakpoints. Hands are average, but overall ball skills impress. Tracks and catches deep balls with above average poise. Works to the back, works back to the throw when needed. Very slippery as an open field runner. And and one of the weaknesses, and this is the first weakness, and I mentioned it before: shorter arms and smaller hands. In too much of a hurry at times. Routes need better salesmanship and attention to detail. Needs to do a better job of finding optimal holes in zone coverage. Might lack play strength to win contested catches as a pro. Teams, that's what I'm talking about. He's short in stature, 5'9". Teams might have to live with more drops than they would like to see. Ain't no team going to live with drops. You got to have exceptional ability to be able to uh, and ability means you don't drop the ball that much. So
Agreed.
if you got your drop candidate, a strong drop candidate, you ain't gonna last long in the NFL as a wide receiver, especially when you're 5'9" and 182 pounds with a short wingspan. Come on, man. That's Zay Flowers. What's your thoughts?
I would say I love his measurables or immeasurables,
Okay.
but what that tells me is he's a 9 guy. He's a
I was
9 guy.
thinking that. I was thinking of that. Yeah.
That's what it tells me. He's gonna be your Isaiah McKenzie type. That's what I see. Let me go take care of your partner real quick.
You did this yesterday and you're doing it again today. It's becoming a horrible habit, but it is what it is. Go ahead. Anyway, let me move on to the wide receiver another wide receiver out of Cincinnati, 5'10", and come on, 177 pounds, 30 and 7/8 arm length, 9-inch hands. So he's got smaller hands than Zay Flowers. Okay, and less weight, maybe an inch taller, but he got less. 177 pounds. Are you going to maintain that 177 pounds or get and maintain that weight throughout the 17-game season? Cincinnati wide receiver Tyler Scott ran a 4.44, 39.5-inch vertical, 11-foot 1-inch broad jump. NFL comparison is T. Hilton. I don't know if that's good or bad because T.Y. Hilton was a very injury prone wide receiver. With the comparison to T.Y. Hilton,
Go ahead.
while the comparison to T.Y. Hilton might raise some eyebrows, Tyler Scott from Cincinnati is a similar player in body type, speed, and versatility. With just 2 seasons of starting experience at receiver, his route running and ball skills are almost certain to continue to improve and become less of an issue for him in the future. He has the speed and shiftiness to uncover on all 3 levels. Also, he offers jet sweep and receiver screen value. A smaller frame and lack of hand strength are likely to continue to plague him on contested catches, though. Scott is an ascending talent whose versatility and playmaking talent create an easily projectable upside as a good starting slot receiver early in his career. Junior Olympic sprinter with electric top end speed, 10 of 14 career touchdowns went for 30 plus yards. Very fluid and athletic in his movements, able to accelerate to top speed very quickly. Drives and leverages coverage away from stem points. Former high school running back with excellent run after catch talent. Offers dynamic versatility due to his skill set. Punt return potential waiting to be cultivated. Keeps pedal floored while turning to track the deep ball. His weaknesses are fundamentals, needs sharpening as a route runner. Well, he was a former running back, so he hasn't had much experience as a wide receiver. I would think that'd be one of his weaknesses. Still learning to make footwork look similar in all routes. Drifts at turns, allowing undercutting by corners. Has some trouble fighting through physical coverage. Not a big guy. Needs to work back to the throw more consistently. Allows catch space to be overtaken down the field. Limited catch radius and lacking hand size and strength. Talk to me about Mr. Tyler Scott from Cincinnati.
Tyler Scott. So I'll say this. He's going to surprise a lot of people. Think about this. Outside of last year, he faced Kobe Bryant and Sauce Gardner every day in practice. One is the starting quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. The other is starting cornerback from the Jets. One just got Defensive Rookie of the Year. The other was the runner-up. Do not sleep on this kid. That's what I'm saying. Do not sleep on him. He has ability. Whoever gets him might have to mold him a little bit, but don't sleep on him. That's all I got.
Are you telling me he's a project?
No. What I'm saying is he might not go high, right?
You need to refine his skills you're talking about.
He just needs a little bit of fine-tuning to make it NFL level. But iron sharpens iron. And when you got to go against Sauce or Kobe every day in practice, you getting sharp. All he has to do is get, acclimated. I think he ate something he shouldn't have ate, but I didn't give him nothing. But his dog, I ain't even feed him his dog food yet. Anyway, that's what I think. I think that he's not a project, but he's somebody that if you give him the right coach and teach him the NFL fundamentals. Okay, JT just left. I don't know. He's having more technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. I can't speak to it, but I'll say this while we wait for him to come back. Let's go to the NFL because free agency starts today at 4:00, and if Aaron Rodgers is not signed with the Jets, who's next? Are the Jets willing to give up two first-round draft picks to get Lamar if Aaron doesn't work? I don't know. But Mr. Technical Difficulty without no backdrop. Oh, well, he's gone. I was about to bring him back on, but he's not. I'll just make this the FSP show part 2, where we talk about what I want to talk about, which is professional football at its finest. I guess JT's going to try to do this without a face. He's going to do oh, there he is. Okay. I don't know if he's finished with his technical difficulties or not, but he does have problems, and I don't want him to say not one word about my dog. about me, about nothing, because he had like 3 minutes of dead air. He would have had more if I wasn't here. So I want to hear nothing.
Anyway, let's move on to the next wide receiver. Hails out of.
If you can keep active on the screen.
And let me bring this guy back in here. USC, a USC wide receiver, 5'11". I mean, 5'11", 173 pounds. It's like this. Come on, man. Ran a 4.49, 34-inch vertical, 10.2 broad jump. Comparison is Tyler Lockett. Slight of frame. Inside, and then we're talking about Jordan Addison out of USC. Inside, outside, wide out with the speed and ability to work confidently on all three levels of the field, but lacking the side and catch strength. He's generally associated with high impact performance on the next level. Come on. Addison route running features acceleration, dynamic steering, and sudden turns at the moment's notice. While he can get to the spot effectively, he has trouble consistently winning battles when he has coverage company beside him. While Addison failed to make the same impact he did in 2021, his usage at Pitt might be a better indicator of the type of role and production he could be capable of on the next level. His strength or possesses athleticism and speed to work anywhere on the football field. Early drive bursts, regardless of route depth. Smart use of footwork defeats coverage leverage. Accelerates through stems for separation to the post. Good sinking foot agility, getting in and out of breaks. Ability to run complex routes with effectiveness. Can be slippery runner after the catch. Punt return experience in all 3 seasons. Weaknesses: only 2 touchdown catches over the last 7 games. Route timing can be disrupted by handsy corners, meaning he can't fight
his hands on him.
Yeah. Limited catch radius for off-target throws. Needs better timing in work back to throws. Deep ball tracking can be a little inconsistent. Unable to create catch space downfield against size. Average hand strength to finish through contact. Now, that sounds to me like a typical, and I hate to say it, but a typical USC wide receiver that can't get off press and is not able to get decent separation. You are 4.49 wide receiver at 5'11", but only 173 pounds. You need to put some weight on you to be able to go against strong corners. Otherwise, you are not going to be successful in the NFL. Talk to me about Mr. Jordan Addison from USC.
He's not the best USC receiver, as you know. There's another USC receiver. There's a reason why, because this one wasn't as reliable. Coming out, he's a second, third day pick, in my opinion. He's going to have to fight to make the team, and he's going to be on special teams. Bottom line. That's it.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next guy. Hailing out of one of the better teams, and was a pass catcher from your one of your favorite quarterbacks, and that's from Tennessee. And like I said, from Tennessee, and he's a come on, load page, load. 6'3", 213. Just what I'm looking for, but he only ran a 4.54. Okay, that's not bad. 37-inch vertical, 10.8 broad jump.
10.8. That's good.
He's got 10.8. Okay. Now I'm pretty sure this is one of your favorite wide receivers, and I'm pretty sure once I give you his comparison, and his name is Cedric Tillman. His NFL comparison is Michael Pittman Jr. Highly
definitely not one of my favorites. That's one of your favorites.
No, you love Michael Pittman.
No, I do not. That's you. You were singing the praises and touting him all last year after downing him the year before. But continue.
Yeah, because he just like some quarterbacks that didn't perform well their first year, the second year they they made a dramatic improvement. Michael Pittman made a dramatic improvement from first year to second year. Highly competitive wideout with an enticing blend of speed, skill, and toughness that fits what teams look for in an NFL starter. Tillman was a monster in 2021, ringing up impressive performances against the likes of Alabama and Georgia. He proved he could catch the ball through contact underneath while imposing his size and ball skills on opponents when pulling in the deep ball. He has average speed and needs to play with better explosiveness out of breaks, as NFL windows will become much tighter on the first two levels. A high ankle sprain suffered in the third game of the season robbed him of a highly productive 2022, but his toughness to make it back early and compete late in the year has impressed evaluators. Strength comes from NFL bloodlines. Plays the game with desired physicality. Posted 17 catches for 352 yards and 2 touchdowns in Tennessee's game against Alabama and Georgia in 2021. Proven toughness over the last 2 years. Unfazed catching in traffic. Wide catch radius paired with strong hands. Plays deep throws with focused body control and A-plus ball skills. Adjusts pacing and positioning for optimal catch success. Drags cornerbacks for extra yards after the catch. He's got 32 and 3/4 arm length and hands, big hands, 10-inch hands. Okay. His weaknesses lack sudden takeoff to consistently elude physical corners. Looked a step slower even before ankle injury in 2022. Needs to fight off coverage at the top of the route. Doesn't possess clear second gear to run under deep throws. Must prove he can make it back to 2021 form. Doesn't always snap off breaks with the decisive burst.
Those are, well, go ahead. Keep going. I know you got some more.
No, I don't. That's it.
So what does that, to me, just listening, that's a possession receiver. If I'm categorizing as a GM, that is a possession receiver. That is not a receiver that I think can do it all. I think that's a person that's going to give me first downs and maybe touchdowns, but he's not going to be en bloc. You know what he sounds like? An underdeveloped Adam Thielen. An underdeveloped Adam Thielen.
Oh, I think he got better. I think he's got better ability than Adam Thielen. Really?
Not coming out of college.
Okay. All right. Well, that's just your opinion. And we move on to the next. He's the wide receiver out of TCU. 6'3", 208, 33 5/8 arm length, 9 5/8 hands, decent arm length. Didn't run in the combine. I hate the comparison. I really hate this comparison. I think this kid, his measurables dictate he's better than Alshon Jeffrey's NFL comparison. Talking about Quentin Johnston out of TCU. Height, weight,
again, the
speed.
best receiver out of TCU was the 5'8" guy that ran a 4.4 or a 4.32 or 4.26. That was the best receiver out of TCU, and it proved itself during the playoffs. Because when that kid was covered, they couldn't get the ball to this guy you're talking about. So, again, not a top or a frontline guy that I'm banking on. A lot of receivers, and we've said this, and I know I've said it many times, especially on my show, Fantasy Sports and Politics, every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Also found on YouTube under Victor Gardner. Also found on Twitch under VICHBK. Also found on Facebook under Victor Gardner. This isn't a as I said, a frontline guy. For instance, you know your boy the Cheetah just came off of like 0.6 of breaking a world record in track and field.
Okay.
You know that?
No, I didn't know.
Yes. and the how many meters it was? It was
You talking about
I
the
think
60 meter?
60 meters or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, six. I
He
think it was
almost broke
six point
a
seven.
world record.
It was 6.7.
Yeah, he was off by like 0.6 or whatever from breaking a world record.
Mm-hmm.
Under 6 foot, got the speed to burn. Hands were definitely questionable, but he was able to run away from people, right? That goes back to the height issue that you're talking about. This kid that you're talking about now has your measurables, but is nothing more than a possession receiver. That's why I brought it up like that.
Okay,
Nothing more than possession receiver.
height, weight, speed, prospect with physical traits and upside that might have teams willing to overlook some of his inconsistencies on tape. Johnston is a long striding vertical threat who can open up and separate when allowed to keep his feet moving in space. Now that's a
That's not going to happen in the NFL.
I was going to say that's an important sentence there.
Yeah,
Johnson is the
when
long
allowed to.
yeah. Johnson is a long striding, and I'll say it again. Johnson is a long striding vertical threat who can open up and separate when allowed, and that's a key word, when allowed to keep his feet moving in space. His elevation and catch radius create an expansive target area down the field, but his overall success rate on contested catches is way lower than it should be for a receiver his size. Johnston needs a specific route tree, but will improve in that area at the next level. He will benefit from a more accurate deep ball quarterback, but still feels more like good wide receiver two than a high volume wide receiver one. Gino Brussel, good deep ball throwers, both of them. Desired blend of size and strength and speed outside. Consistently intensity in drive phase, regardless of route depth. Long strides allow him to eat up into coverage cushions quickly. Separation speed shows up across the hashes. Should see more touchdown opportunity with a more accurate quarterback. Shows off athleticism once the ball is released. Makes late adjustments to haul and deep throws. Above average catch radius. Now, his weaknesses are the production was somewhat erratic. Grabbed just 6 of Matt Duggar's 32 touchdown passes in 2022. Long release steps allow press to tag him. He can't get away from press coverage. Struggles to create leverage and deception in routes. Listless. That's not good. That's effort. Getting out of breaks and presenting underneath. Fails to stack and wall off defenders on deep throws. Doesn't meet throws with desired arm extension. Inconsistent finishing catches through contact. Now those last 3 or 4 that I talked about sounds all about effort, in my opinion. Talk to me, Mr. FSP.
That's the thing, man. If it's if a person, like for instance, I can do this show effortlessly, right? Will it always be the best show? Probably not. If I prepare myself correctly, I could do this show effortlessly and flawlessly, right? I wouldn't have any technical difficulties. I'll have my subjects on point. I'll have time for you to talk. I'd have all these things. I'm just saying, right? If you're prepared and you're ready for prime time, effortlessly. See, I couldn't get it out effortlessly. You're going to be G to G, right? So,
Okay.
Is this guy ready for prime time? Is the question. That's my question. Is he ready for prime time?
Well, his NFL comparison is Alshon Jeffries.
Well, again, Alshon was a tall, big guy,
No
but
effort.
stayed injured. But if you're talking about talent per se, and that's all I'm basing it on. I'm not basing it off their injury history. I'm basing it off their talent. That's pretty good talent. Oh my God. JT again having the technical difficulties. If I leave, that means the show's over. So I can't leave because I don't know if Jerry wants to end the show right now. But the way his technical difficulties have, he's not doing this effortlessly. Is that even a word? I gotta look that up. Hey Siri, is effortlessly a word? Let's see what Siri says. She found this on the web. Effortlessly is a word, meaning the effortless in a way that is effortless, seemingly not to need any effort. All right, Siri, thank you. Because somebody's not doing it effortlessly.
Oh, let me put it this way.
Somebody's not, but they want to talk about my dog.
I have my hand on my mouse and my finger twitching, and every time I twitch, my mouse is in the wrong spot. So I got to yeah. You don't understand.
If we prepare,
I'm prepared. I'm prepared. Obviously, I'm prepared because I'm talking about each one of these players, and I'm ready to tell people about them. It's just the fact is,
how you ain't prepared for the other issues?
I got to twitch. I'm prepared.
Oh, you got to twitch. We're going to have to get you fixed. I don't know. We got to get you checked out.
Anyway, let's move on to the next to last wide receiver that we're going to talk about. He hails out of North Carolina. Another one of under 5'10", 5'9", 171 pounds. 30.
I'm going to tell you something. Hold up. I'm going to tell you something before you can go any further. You're upset by the height. What I'm going to tell you is this is based upon a lot of running backs no longer being that size and having to move over to a different position. Because the running back is now what you want, a 6-footer. Because I want you to go back in time. When I was in high school, the best running backs were 5'10", just over 200 pounds or so. But when you were in high school, they were about 6 foot, 240, 230, whatever it is, like Jim Brown and Earl Campbell. They were that size. But then the trend started changing when their kids had kids and they played football. So it's reverting back to what it was before, the cycle. We're going back to the 6-footer running back, which means those talented running backs that could catch the ball out the backfield are moving over to receiver. And it's just what it is. Because in my generation, well, not my generation, but when I was in high school, that's what the move was. The smaller guys were the more talented guys because they could do more than just be a pounder. But now the pounder can catch. So now you got the height, speed, and the ability to catch out of a 6-footer. These 5'9" guys, they got to find somewhere to play. So they go to the wide receiver spot. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, but this guy's 5'9", and we're talking about. I think the lightest guy was 165 pounds.
Yeah, 165.
This guy is no bigger than that. He's 171. 5'9", 171. Come on, man. I know he ran a 4.48, 38.5-inch vertical, which is very good. 10.11 in the broad jump, which is very good. But he's 5'9", 171 pounds. That right there tells me he's going to be doing special teams.
Okay, what was Tyreek Hill? Or what is Tyreek Hill now?
Tyreek Hill is 5'10", 5'11".
5'10".
5'11", but he's got world-class speed. This kid doesn't have world-class speed.
I get it, but I guess I'm trying to stop you from disparaging somebody's ability based upon their height. It sounds like you're a heightist.
No. Look, I'm a realist when it comes to wide receivers. Wide receivers need to be over 6 feet. Over 6 feet.
And they don't need to be, but it's ideal for what you want them to be.
Exactly. That's exactly. They in order to be successful and have a long, productive career, you got to have at least 200 pounds sitting on you to be able to take.
I don't think so.
200 pounds, 200, maybe 190, 195, 200 pounds, somewhere around there. 171 pounds, 165 pounds, 180 pounds, 185 is pushing it because you have to have some muscle on there and you have to have the height to be competitive as a wide receiver. This guy's got to He's got 3 inches below a 6 foot corner. He's
So
got
I'm agree. No, I'm agree with you on that part alone about having to be competitive with a cornerback being higher. But I'm going to tell you a secret. The Army has patterned their physical training based off of the NFL athlete, right? And the ideal person, my height, 5'9.5", 5'10", is 189 pounds
okay.
to be a supreme athlete, right?
Okay.
I would be 189 is the max, right? In order for me to be ideal, it would be 178, 179, something like that. That at my height, that is what the Army says. Now, we both are athletes, except the athlete on the football field, the athlete on the court or whatever. They're doing something different. You've gone through both. You were athlete on the soccer field.
Yep.
I was athlete on the football field. We both were athletes in the military.
Right.
So we know the demands. That's why it's so easy for somebody in the Army or the Marines. I didn't say Air Force, you notice, or the Navy, to transition to a physical sport such as football, because they're physically able and built to withstand the rigors of football.
Mentally able to.
Exactly. So you saying, okay, well, old boy got a 3-inch height advantage over the receiver. That's true. So does most of every cornerback in the NFL, but Tyreek Hill just blows right by him. Now, I'm not saying all these other people got Tyreek Hill speed.
That's key.
Because they don't.
And I mentioned that before. If you got 5'9", 5'8", you gotta have world-class speed. You gotta have some super speed, man. You gotta have
some good speed, but look at Kenneth Gainwell. What is Kenneth Gainwell? Kenneth Gainwell is 5'8", 180, and the power back for Philly. He scored the most rushing touchdowns outside of Sanders for that team. 5'8", 170, 180 at running back, the power back. So,
but he was used. He was used sparingly. He wasn't used as an every down back.
Agreed. He wasn't.
But
I will tell you, bro, I'm taller than you, and I'm defending people that you're putting down. So I gotta say, I need you to chillax on the people that are vertically challenged, because that doesn't gauge their heart, that doesn't gauge their ability.
Well, that's true. But on the football field, they're at a disadvantage.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
As soon as they step on the football field, they're at a disadvantage. Height and weight, they're at a disadvantage. So they got to be exceptional in speed and be able to track the football. If they're not, they're going to be on special teams. They're going to be used sparingly. That's just the bottom line. Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill because he's got world-class speed and can track the football past people and can catch it and run away from people easily. If he didn't have his speed, he'd just be another 5'9", 5'10" wide receiver.
Again,
I'm just saying.
I don't disagree with that analysis fully. I disagree with just parts of it. But my friend, let's not just throw down the people your height. We got one more receiver to go, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we do. We got. First, let me get through this guy. It's Josh Downs from the University of North Carolina. His comparison is Kadarius Toney. Okay, now that I'm raising an eyebrow because I like Kadarius Toney. And Kadarius Toney is not a big wide receiver, but he's got some muscle to him. He's got some Deebo Samuel to him. Let me put it that way. Free-flowing athlete with dynamic footwork and an instinctive feel for how they elude opponents. Josh Downs posted off the charts production over the last 2 seasons as an undersized slot with an oversized will. His confidence jumps off the tape, and he has proven himself to be better at catching through contact than you might expect. That's Hart. While his route running is effective and fun to watch,
Sorry.
coaches coaches will need him to become more disciplined and efficient in order to maintain the timing of play design. Downs might not have prototypical size. I agree with that, but he's well positioned to keep stacking catches and making plays as a starting NFL slot wide receiver. He's got a lot of strengths. Supremely confident with outstanding production over the last 2 seasons. Appears to have both quickness and long speed. Tempo changes create unease for man coverage. Separation bursts gain space through turns, cuts. Footwork and change of direction are sudden and sharp. Use athleticism to elude defenders. Leaps and adjusts to pick throws off defenders' head. Surprising catch toughness for his size. Slippery when asked to return punts. He's got a 38.5-inch vertical and a broad jump of 10-11. His weaknesses are below average build working into the middle, can be slowed by a physical press corner.
Which they're doing.
Needs to be more disciplined in route running, will leave routes unfinished at times, struggle with focus drops at times during career, unable to make a difference as a run blocker. At 5'9" and 171 pounds, I would think he'd have problems being a run blocker. Talk to me about Josh Downs.
The 5'9"er, right? How do you accentuate his abilities? You don't run to his side unless there's off coverage. That's the big thing about these corners that are coming out this year. Porter Jr., kid out of Illinois. They like to be physical. The kid out of Oregon. They all love to be physical corners. They're also big corners. So the 5'9" guys, what?
Gonzalez.
Yeah, Gonzalez. So this is why I said I can agree partially with what you're saying, because a 5'9" guy is going to have to be shifty to get off that first punch.
Yep.
One hand, two hand, right? If this guy has problems with it now, he can be taught how, but after a while, his body's going to get beat up. So, again, I understand and can agree with what you're saying about people his height, but him in particular, he's going to have to win off the line of scrimmage. That's the bottom line. All the people you're talking about that you don't like because of their height, they're going to have to win off the line of scrimmage every time. Every time.
Because most of the ones that are 5'9", 5'8", maybe 5'10", are light in the ass. And I'll say it point blank. They're light in the ass. 170, maybe 180 pounds, 165 pounds. Come on, man. You're light in the ass. You got to be able to. You got 6'6" corners, 6'1" corners, 5'10", 200-pound corners. They're not going to let you get off the line with a free rein. They're gonna give you a nice pop. See what you got. So you got to be quick and you got to be able to be strong. And when we get to the next one, I think this guy's light in the ass, but he's got the height. And if you're ready for me to go to the last one, I'll do that.
Go ahead, man. I'm ready. Okay. I'm listening.
He's a wide receiver, a 6 foot, 100, and he's light in the ass. He's got to add at least 10 pounds on him. He's 176 pounds. Got 9-inch hands, 32.5-inch arms, and 6 foot, but he ran a 4.4. So he's got some decent speed. But he's only 176 pounds. I'm talking about the wide receiver out of Tennessee in Jalen Hyatt.
Oh, I love this guy.
11 4'3" broad jump and 40-inch vertical. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, long and hit. I'm not sure about. Well, I can see that. Is NFL comparison? Hope he has a longer and more productive career than Deshaun Jackson, but long, slender wideout with deep speed that could force defensive coordinators to alter coverage considerations. Highest gliding gait disguised as explosive acceleration that can lead to easy separation on deep throws. However, he does display inconsistency on contested catches. Hyatt is ordinary getting in and out of intermediate breaks and might be best with a limited route tree full of slants, crosses, and a series of field stretching patterns. Hyatt is an instantly credible wide receiver too, with the ability to make a huge impact, but production could be erratic due to the limitations of his game. Well, the production was erratic for Deshaun Jackson because the limitations of his game. Top end speed creates tension for defensive coordinators. Run game will see lighter boxes out of defenses' respect for his explosiveness. Tears into cushions and rockets past off-man coverage. Maintains space. Maintains spacing from physical coverage getting into the route. Runs focused vertical routes at crisp angles. Glides into acceleration mode at route stems to separate. Gets pitch and catch opportunities underneath against off-man. Finished second in FBS with 15 receiving touchdowns, willing and effective as a perimeter blocker. 176 pounds. You got to have some muscle to you.
bro.
You got to have some weight to you. Scheme created a variety of free releases for him. Route tree somewhat limited. Lean frame lacking in play strength. That's what I'm talking about. Knocked off course when press punch finds him. Lacks deception in his short and intermediate routes. Unsuccessful holding ground when catch is contested. Because he's 176 pounds. Come on, man.
I'm gonna tell you this is a falsity. Wherever you're getting this information from, it's a falsity. But go ahead.
Why you say that?
I'm gonna tell you this was Hendon Hooker's favorite target.
Okay.
Alabama doubled him, and he still had 6 touchdowns. Excuse me, 4 touchdowns against Alabama.
College.
Listen what I'm saying. You can say college all day, but where are we getting all of these cornerbacks from? Alabama. Where are we getting all these players from? Georgia, Alabama. He killed Georgia and he killed Alabama. This kid. So don't let the smooth taste fool you about this guy. He was a dog and is a dog. Now, Hendon Hooker fed him like I don't know what. True. So it also depends on what quarterback he gets. If he finds his way with Hendon Hooker again, boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. But this kid Hyatt, Peyton Manning don't take pictures with just anybody. Peyton Manning doesn't smoke a cigar and take pictures with just anybody. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. This kid is that good. Peyton Manning endorses him. That's how good this kid is.
He's a fellow Tennessean. He's a fellow Tennessean.
Oh my God. But it's because of his play. Did Peyton Manning endorse T. Martin like that? Did he endorse any other Tennessee player like that? No. What I'm telling you is this kid is legit. He's legit. Don't sleep on him. Another example of height don't mean jack.
Well,
and he can beat these guys off the break, and he does have good runaway speed.
Okay. All right. So it was an hour and 45 minutes that we went through this. It was time well spent. I wanted to go through
technical difficulties.
Yeah, even with the technical difficulties, I think we finally going through all the wide receivers that I was planning on going through, and then a little more, which is fine. I'm not a college football guy, and I do depend on Mr. FSP for some college analysis because he watched college football. Okay, but and I got no issue with that, and I'm not ashamed to say that. Okay, that, and he's watched some. I wouldn't say some. He's watched college football, and a few of these guys that we've mentioned, and we've gotten some besides the analysis that I read about. We got some off the paper analysis from Mister FSP, which is fine. Which is fine. I can tell you right now, there's a few guys that I'm looking at in this list that taken late in the fantasy football draft because I think they're going to be.
Such as who?
I'm not saying.
No, I mean, if you go and say, if you go and share.
I'm not.
Just like Calvin Ridley. When I shared Calvin Ridley, somebody went and stole him. But I ain't gonna say who.
Let me put it
but
this
because I didn't have them, you didn't steal them. But why don't you just mention who you're talking about? And don't give no fake information. Don't give no fake information.
I don't give fake information.
On your show, you don't. On your show,
no, on any show, I don't. I don't give fake information.
You have admitted that you did several weeks back. So don't you dare say you don't. Don't make me. Make me pull the video.
Let me put it this way. If
I've given
fake information, it's been off air. That hasn't been on air.
No, it was not off air. It was on air, and I got the video to prove it, and I will. Don't make me do it, Jerry.
Oh, God. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the last person we mentioned for one. I'm looking at Jordan Addison, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at the guy from Ohio State. He was, if I'm not mistaken, he was considered the better of the three wide receivers when Garrett Wilson and Olave played together.
He was because he got the most touchdowns and the most yak.
So, one. And then there's some other ones I need to get more information on before I make any decision on. But that's for future. That's when we are talking about individual positions in fantasy football.
Mm-hmm.
Come August. Wait a minute. Individual positions I talk about in fantasy football come August. The whole month of August, I talk about quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends, and not necessarily in that order. That's what I usually do come August before fantasy football drafts, before a majority of fantasy football drafts take place. And some flyers, some sleepers. Okay? So we got this is only mid-March. We got a lot of information that's going to pass through the upcoming months from me and from other sources. We'll wait and see what happens. But I told you of 3 wide receivers that I'm looking at.
I'll believe it when I see him try to draft them.
And let me tell you something, Mr. FSP.
I'm
going to tell you right now, because I've always been 100%. I'm going to tell you right now. If he's not taken, I'm taking him.
Who?
Hyatt. If he's not taken, when I think he should be taken, I'm taking him. The last one we talked about, Hyatt, and the guy from Ohio State. They're late round flyers, and if they're not taken by somebody, I'm taking them. And let me put it this way. Let me just say this.
So let me ask you, when do you think he should be taken?
Don't interrupt me. This is my show. Let me just
say. Oh Lord, here we go again.
Let me just say this. When our draft, which is going to be online, which is going to be on
live
on whoever's show, your show, takes place, and you by chance happen to take one of those players I just mentioned, I'm not going to say you stole them. I'm just going to say you took them, and I'll just move on to the next player. It don't make a difference. I'm not that guy. If I never had him, you can't steal him from me. If I never had him, you can't steal him from me. I'm saying it right now on air. March 12th, on air.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
And I can guarantee you're gonna take one of those late flyers. I almost guarantee it.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jewelry, you will have the opportunity to see if Jerry Taylor's telling the truth, because we will go live for the draft yet again. And we're going to see, because Jerry, here's the $10 million question, because you kind of set it up so that you could weasel your way out.
No, I'm not going to weasel my way out.
I didn't say you were. I said that so you could.
Look.
When do you consider the best time to draft one of these players? That's the key, because you said
10 to 14.
I quote
10 to 14. 10 to 14th round. I said late round flyer, late round keeper. So that's late rounds, 10 to 14. Okay. Now that you put some stank on it. Let me just give you an example of what I'm talking about. Now, you've poo-pooed me last year when I talked about Christian McCaffrey. And I said, anytime I get
poo-poo you
wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Yes, you did. Yes,
no,
you did. Because you always said he was injury prone. And
I didn't poo-poo.
You told me, well, yes, you do. I mentioned Christian McCaffrey as the number one pick, and you said, come on, man, stop. He's injury prone. Come on.
And he wasn't the number one. He shouldn't have been the number one. Who was the best offensive player last year? Justin Jefferson. He actually won the award.
As a running back in the first round of the draft, I told you I was taking Christian McCaffrey. Every day, and twice on Sunday. Okay. And
he fell to you.
And he fell to me. I mean, like, come on.
I mean, I opened up the show every week with that. Yeah. I can show it right now if the people want to see.
That's not a problem. But what I'm saying is, what you don't understand. What I'm saying is, I told you I was going to take McCaffrey if he was available.
I knew that. I knew that.
Hold on.
I knew you would. That wasn't a question.
And I made it no secret that I made it no secret on air, off air, that I was taking McCaffrey anytime I could get him. And I got him as the 7th pick in the first round. I got him at the 9th pick in the first round. I got him as the 3rd pick in the first round. That's the drafts that I can recall. So,
and luckily for you, he was traded and became exactly what you thought he would be. But after he was traded,
it didn't make a difference. He was doing that. He was doing that when he was in Carolina. He was doing that in Carolina, not past years. This year, he was doing it in Carolina. Yes, he wasn't. Okay, no problem.
But again, I mean, using CMC as an example of, I'm gonna get him anytime I can. I mean, who wouldn't? If you would not pick him up early in the first round. You told me that yourself. I did not pick him up because I don't believe I was drafting ahead of you, if I'm not mistaken. I believe I was drafting last in that draft, and I was. Had he fell to me at 9, even in the video when I say, "Oh Lord, he's gonna get him," because I would have got him 2 at 9. That makes perfect sense. I wouldn't have got him at 1.
Oh, I would have taken him at 1. If I had the first pick, Christian McCaffrey is going to be on my team. No, there was no doubt about it. And I voiced that last year. Almost every draft I had, Christian McCaffrey number 1.
And he wasn't number 1.
And you just shook your head and said, I wouldn't do it. He's too injury prone. I said, those are soft tissue issues. Soft tissue issues are way different than ACL, Achilles, a broken leg, or any type of ligament. Soft tissue issues and ankle sprains and muscle pulls are totally different.
No, you're right, but I mean, he ended up having that same type of issue in San Francisco. That's why they had to shelf him for a little bit.
Didn't he shelf him? He played him. He didn't get shelved at all.
He did not finish, and he did not play 1 or 2 games in San Francisco, guy.
You're wrong.
Look it up now. Look it up right now. Because I know he didn't finish a couple games. Because matter of fact,
Wait a minute.
one of the games he didn't finish because he got hurt.
You just said he got shelved, meaning he didn't play. Now you're saying that
Go ahead.
he didn't
But
finish
both
that
happened.
game.
Both happened. Go ahead and look it up. Both happened. We got time. It's your show. We got time. Because I know he didn't play 17 games.
There you're wrong. There you're wrong.
Pull it up.
Wait a minute. I'm in the process of bring up. Hold on a minute. I just saw something. Hold on.
Ladies and see now he's
No. I just see something real quick, but I'm getting to where I need to get to find out what he played, because he played every game. He played every game. He may not have finished it, and the reason a lot of times he didn't finish it because they were so ahead. They
he didn't finish several games
because oh my God,
because he got hurt. He got hurt during the game. But we're talking about how many games did he play?
Hold on, I'm getting there. I'm getting there right now. He played every game. If I'm not mistaken, he played every game.
Now if I'm not mistaken. We got the time, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, there's no problem, man. I know about CMC. I
don't know. You might think you know, but I don't think you know.
Okay. All right.
What? What? I mean,
I'm trying to get there, man.
How bad is your internet? You know what? All I got to do is Google CMC games 2022.
Well, let me put it this way. Chris McCaffrey played 11 games for the San Francisco 49ers. And let me get back to the
Christian McCaffrey.
He played 11 games for the San Francisco 49ers.
How many games did he play last year, JT?
He played 11 games for the San Francisco 49ers. 11 regular season.
Okay, but how many games in total did he play, JT?
Just hold on a minute. I'm looking this up here.
Oh my God! I just pulled up.
Wait, I gotta go to two different teams.
No, you don't. All you got to do is go to ESPN, pull up every game he played, which is for the season.
He played every game because he played 6 games for the Carolina Panthers and 11 games for the 49ers. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Let me hold on. Let me.
Okay. You can look it all up, but I'm just telling you, you're wrong. You're wrong. He played every game. I know. I had him. I know how many games he played. He played every game.
Okay, he didn't finish the Cardinals game because he only had 7.
What was the score?
He didn't finish the game. It was 22-16. That's a one-score game, Slim. Oh, excuse me, 38-10 on that one.
Okay.
And then the loss to Kansas City, 44-23, only had 8 rushes.
Right, because it was a lost cause in the fourth quarter. So
he didn't finish that game. He didn't finish.
He didn't finish the game because it was a lost cause. They didn't want to ask him for no reason. Stop. First of all, Mr. FSP, you said he didn't.
I was wrong. I was mistaken. He did play
every
17 games.
Every game.
I know he didn't finish 3 games.
Yeah, those games if they blew somebody out, they would put the other running back. Yes, they did. You're trying to premise this by saying that he didn't play
that was not the case.
You're wrong.
He played all 17.
Yes, he did.
But he did not finish. He did not finish.
Wait a minute.
Because I had Elijah Mitchell. I had Elijah Mitchell, if you remember. I know when Elijah Mitchell played.
Let me put it this way.
Go.
He played every game, and the games that he didn't play, for the most part, were blowouts when they set him.
That's not true.
Okay, you. Let me put it this way. You had to prove your point. So you're trying to back.
No. I just said I was wrong that he played 17 games, but I also said that he did
17 games and
several games because he was hurt.
And when Elijah Mitchell came back, they put Elijah Mitchell in at certain points of the game, not because Christian McCaffrey was hurt, but because that's Kyle Shanahan, and he put Elijah Mitchell back in the game for a change not change of pace, but to take the burden off of Christian McCaffrey on every play. Am I right? Am I wrong about that? Did Elijah Mitchell come back and did he start getting incorporated into the offense?
Yeah,
Yes.
he did.
Yes, because he wanted to take the burden off of Christian McCaffrey and being every play.
Dude, what I'm saying
Not that he was hurt. Not that he was hurt.
He was hurt several. Okay.
He wasn't. He
All right,
wasn't.
JP.
He wasn't.
He didn't play game. Well, he didn't play a full game. Let me put it that way.
He didn't have to. When Elijah Mitchell came back, he didn't have to. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm telling you, it wasn't because Elijah Mitchell came back. Well, in a way, in a sense, yes, you're right that it was because Elijah Mitchell came back, but he was not healthy during those times, whereas he started the game. And then he didn't even play a whole half, and the game was still in doubt. I'm not talking about the blowout.
You didn't have to.
I'm not talking about the blowouts,
You didn't
JT.
have to. You didn't have to. You had Elijah Mitchell come in.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
No,
okay.
It's okay.
Let me phrase it this way. Did Chris McCaffrey play the majority of the snaps as a running back? The reason I'm asking that is
when did Elijah Mitchell come back, dude? He didn't come back to like game week 10, week 13.
Okay, that's almost half the season.
Of course, Christian McCaffrey's gonna have all them touches.
That's almost half the season. That's almost half the season. And the fact is this.
All right.
Does Kyle Shanahan like to use more than one back? And if he has,
you ain't got to prove nothing to me. All I was telling you is that Christian McCaffrey, there were several games. I concede that he played all 17. However, there were several games because of injury, not because of the score, that he did not finish the game.
Did he put up solid fantasy numbers from day one? From day one?
No. He did not.
Oh,
he
wow.
He put up good fantasy numbers when he was in Carolina. After he got traded, he started to get way better numbers because he was in a position to get way better numbers. And we know this for a fact because you were complaining about him not getting the ball when he was in Carolina the first part of the season. So we know that to be true. But as Perkins says, carry on.
See, he still can't really get rid of TSA, but okay, that's all right.
No, not that, Perkins. See, that shows you have no idea. You stuck on TSA, not me. They live in your head rent free.
No, but you know why they live in my head?
No, because you crazy.
You know why they live in my head?
I am not the problem.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
You are.
Okay. All right, people.
You are.
It's been real as always. We can't as always on my show. We can't finish this on an even note.
Yes, we can.
Always have to have some type of conflict, but that's okay.
No, I mean, no, not always. Not always.
Okay.
I mean, look, I will say we disagree on CMC, and mine is a fact that he was not the best offensive player last year. Fantasy or reality.
My was the fact that he was a consistent, good fantasy player throughout the season.
You didn't say good.
All 17.
You didn't say good, but okay. I'll accept good.
All 17.
I'll accept good.
He was a good fantasy player all 17 games.
I will agree with that. Good. He was a good fantasy player all 17 games, but he was not stellar in all 17.
He was stellar. Overall, he was a good fantasy player.
Yes.
Over half those games, he was stellar.
If
you average in the good and the stellar, it comes out to about good, to very good. But I'll settle
say good. I'm not gonna say very good.
Okay.
But ladies and gentlemen, the part that JT didn't mention, because of course JT is so biased. I already said after CMC was traded.
wouldn't have made a difference.
CMC is the number one fantasy player next year. Playing
I
on San
disagree.
Francisco. I said that.
I disagree.
Exactly.
You know how much.
Exactly.
Well,
and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Well, let me put it this way. You've disagreed.
Y'all see how he is, right? Y'all see how he is, right?
Wait a minute. You see how I am because I'm staying true to form because I'm one of the biggest CMC promoters around. And if I'm saying CMC is not the number one pick next year or this season, and I said it over the last few years, and I've been proven for the majority of the time correct in that yes.
I didn't say anything. I'm just shaking my
Yeah,
head.
okay. Then in my opinion, you should listen. You should listen because I see a trouble in the future. Remember this. If you don't remember anything about running backs, if they have 1,500 rushes, 1,500 touches, have a tendency, and that's a lot, have a tendency to regress. 1,500. Just look up the top running backs right now and see how many physical touches they've had, especially rushes. If it's close to that 1,500 number, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to put some knowledge out there for people that for people in fantasy. Running backs have a tendency, if they get 1,500 rushes, to go and regress.
Their bodies have been banged up. I get it, but okay. All right.
And the going trend of a certain coach and how he treats running backs. I'm just saying.
I agree with that.
I'm just saying.
So I'll say this, and again, why we need to disagree, but JT's a turncoat on his own buddy. I see that right now. He wants to let go of CMC because 1,500 scares.
I don't want to let go. Look,
but
yeah, there is a but. But I look at what I'm looking at, and with my gut feeling, look.
Okay, look. As I said, I think CMC is going to be the number one overall fantasy pick. I would not be surprised if Justin Jefferson regains, or Cooper Kupp, coming off injury, regains that number one fantasy player spot, because there aren't that many of those studs in the NFL. And CMC does have some wear and tear on him, but the way they use CMC, he's an ultimate weapon. He's an ultimate weapon. Now, again, Purdy just had the surgery, so he'll be back just before the beginning of the season, if I'm not mistaken. But that means Trey Lance is going to have first shot, because Purdy's not going to be able to do football activities for 6 months. That ain't good. That's September.
Okay.
So CMC is going to get used a lot. And if Trey Lance is installed as the guy, CMC is going to be used way more than anybody else. And that's points in fantasy.
Trey Lance is a runner, so that may take away from CMC, to tell you the truth.
Conceivably, yes, but if they want to win, you put the ball in the hands of your playmakers. And if Trey Lance is going to get broke up, somebody got to get the ball to CMC, Kittle, Ayuk, Debo, somebody, Jennings. But we shall see. I'm not going to poo-poo on my pick as number one. I think he is the number one overall. He's in the right system on the right team. That's my basis.
Okay.
Yours is a gut feeling, which is cool. That you throw him under the bus. You throw your boy under the bus.
I'm not throwing anybody.
I know.
I'm not throwing anybody on the bus. Over the years, I've been a big CMC promoter. If I seeing red flags showing up, it doesn't make a difference who I like. It's what I see in fantasy. It doesn't make a difference. And over the years, you have poo-pooed a lot of what I've talked about in running backs. And that poo-poo has been thrown in your face because you've been wrong.
Wrong about what? Never mind, let me calm down.
Come on, man. Come on, stop.
Wrong about what?
Running backs.
I've not been wrong about running backs. I've not been as accurate as you have been. I will concede that. But I'm the one to put you on the Austin Eckler. I'm the one to put you on the Aaron Jones.
One year.
I'm the one to put you on.
1 year. Let me put it this way. Just like you have always highlighted the negative out of 2 seasons out of 14. I'm going to do it to you. 1 year out of 14.
No, it's more than that. It's more than that.
No, it's not.
It's probably 2 or 3, but it's more than 1.
Yeah, okay.
But I'll put it this way. You weren't even checking for Austin Eckler a couple years ago. You called him Mr. Brittle.
He was Mr. Brittle.
All I kept saying is, this kid is the truth. Watch what I'm telling you. He's going to be dynamite.
Okay.
You ran with the Alvin Kamara's because you were a front runner. You went with what was known. You didn't go with what was unknown because you don't have the vision.
Wrong.
I got the vision.
Wrong. Arian Foster. Wrong.
Arian Foster didn't last long, did he?
Well, didn't have to. He last.
Arian Foster also thinks the world is flat.
What's that got to do with his running? That has nothing to do with his running.
It does. He left the
NFL. He runs on flat ground, right?
The NFL.
He ran on flat ground, right?
He quit.
He ran on flat ground, right? He ran on flat ground, right? Come on, man, stop.
He quit the NFL because of these thoughts and these
Jamal Charles.
That's the point.
I told you on Jamal Charles before anybody else did.
You're right, but you know what? You also gave up on Jamal Charles after he tore his ACL, and I believed in him. And guess what happened? He came back and had a great year, and I drafted him.
No problem.
So
he defied history. He defied history. And that's a fact.
Oh my
he defied history.
Oh my God. Okay. You keep dogging the king.
I'm gonna dog him out this week. I mean this season.
Okay, well maybe this season. But you dogged him out every season. So I don't want to hear about your prowess and how I'm wrong. I've hit it on a lot.
Have I been right about more running backs than you over the years? Have I been right about more running backs?
I will concede that. However, don't say that I've been wrong.
So
I haven't been wrong. Don't say that now. I haven't been wrong.
You've been wrong about the running backs that I've mentioned.
No.
Yes, you have. Yes, Arian Foster.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
That's one of. That's
Ladies
just
and
one
gentlemen,
of.
This is so not accurate.
That is so accurate. Stop.
I never poo-pooed Arian Foster. Never ever did I poo-poo. I said Arian Foster had a hamstring issue, which he did.
Wait a minute.
He always had a hamstring issue, which was soft tissue.
Before
I never poo-pooed him.
Before, and this is. I wish I could go back to the year. I forget what year it was. But wait a minute. Just listen to me.
I didn't say anything.
The year. I forget what year it was.
This guy.
I had talked about Jamal Charles. You and God bless his soul, Jeff poo-pooed it. And I think it was on Thursday night at the time, right? And I mentioned
y'all notice how his face keeps blending in and out of the screen because he's not telling the truth. He wants to hide his face.
See, here's where you're wrong. You know, you don't
Listen. Here's what we can do. I haven't deleted all the episodes.
I'm not going to go back.
All right, then.
I'm not going 13 years and try to figure out and within the 13 years, well, which one I talked about Jamal Charles, because that wasn't the main topic. It came up in a conversation, whatever conversation it came in.
But I notice how he keeps blending in and out, right? It's only because he's trying to hide his identity so he can say, that's not me. That's my voice, but that's not me when I put the video up.
Well, so let me put it this way. When I hide myself, you can see my name, right? If I don't hide myself, you can't see my whole name. So there's a method to my madness, okay?
I don't know about that. But
anyway, okay. Regardless, I know I know over the years what I've come out and brought out to the general public about running backs.
I didn't disagree with you, young old man. I didn't disagree with you. What I said was you're wrong about me being wrong. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not. I'm not. If I could come back to the tape of way past years when I talked about said running backs, Arian Foster.
Wait a minute. You're wrong about that.
Wait a minute. I told you about CMC. I told you about Alvin Kamara. Told you about Jamal Charles. You told me Alvin Kamara was not a number one pick. And Alvin Kamara, the year I told you about him, was the number one pick. So come on, man. Stop.
So I will tell you that is a factual statement. I do recall that conversation about Alvin Kamara. However, the track record that we're talking about is when we do, and this is easy. This is why I'm saying you can do this, but you refuse to. Whether it's 14 years or not, it's 14 episodes because it's when you talked about your rankings of running backs. You did that. There's no reason to see what show it was going other than 14
it wasn't rankings of running backs. It was also mock drafts. It was also mock drafts because I had said in a mock draft over
I understand that, but what I'm talking about, in order to prove the point where you were talking about your running backs and I poo-pooed your running backs, or I agree with you on your running backs, it's on those shows where you mentioned every running back from, I believe, you started at 25 or whatever.
But it's also in my mock drafts. My mock drafts, who I've named the running back that's been number one.
But Jerry, I get that, but I'm trying to show you how to easily find your evidence.
I didn't do it.
To say that I was wrong.
I didn't do it 12 years ago. I didn't do it 11 years ago. I only started doing that maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, perfect. That's 4 or 5 episodes.
It's not 4 or 5 episodes. That's we're talking about a whole year. That's not 4 or 5 episodes.
No, Jerry, what I'm saying is when you ranked your running backs, you only did it once. And that was in the summer of each year. So if you're saying, like you just said, 4 or 5 years, that's 4 or 5 episodes. I mean, I don't know how difficult that is to understand, because if you only ranked them one time in a summer, which is your final ranking, correct? Your final ranking
in August,
every summer.
You're right. You're exactly
4 or 5 episodes, not 14 years worth. But hey, I can prove that I wasn't wrong. Now, I also said that you were right about a couple players that you mentioned. But for the most part, I haven't been so off that I'm that bad.
I didn't say you were bad.
I admit you are the in our little circle, the GOAT at running back, because you have a longer record of being right on it. But I'm not wrong. I'm not completely wrong.
Oh my!
I've said that many times.
Be still my beating heart.
Man, be still your heart for real. I've said that many times.
Okay. No problem.
You choose to be
no problem.
So
all I have to say is this. For those CMC fans, so those who think CMC should be the number one pick this year, I'm going to just say this: buyer beware. And I've been the strongest supporter of Christian McCaffrey over the last 2 or 3 years than anybody. I'm just saying this year, buyer beware. That I'm just saying. I could be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. Okay? If I have the number one pick in any of my drafts, I'm not taking Christian McCaffrey. I say that right now. Ain't taking him. If I have the number 3 pick, I have to think about it long and hard because the number 3 pick and the number 1 pick is the number 3 pick and number 1 pick is essentially the same.
You know what I'm gonna do?
Essentially the same.
Here's what I'm gonna do. You just gave me a great idea.
Okay.
Great idea.
Yep.
I'm gonna see if everybody's coming back next year. Because if everybody's coming back next year, we're gonna do the draft order now. We're gonna do the draft order now. Just to see.
Okay.
What's gonna happen.
No problem. I'm telling you.
He's a bum. And I can't wait for you to pick CMC number 1. I want you to have number 1. I want you to have.
I'm telling you right now, if it's CMC, if I have the number 1 pick, CMC is not going to be on my team.
So who would you pick number 1?
I'm not telling you that right now,
bro. It's freaking March. What difference does it make?
That's right. That's right. It's March. That's right.
So I'm asking you.
I'm still doing research.
If you're saying in March, listen. If you're saying March, there's no way you're picking CMC.
Hey, I may not even take a running back in the first round.
Well, I'm not asking you in the first round. I'm asking you who, if you had the number 1 overall pick, who would you pick? That's what I asked. Not are you getting a running back in the first round? I'm saying who would you get with the number 1 pick?
Justin Jefferson.
After I done said this dude is the number 1 overall pick, this dude now going to pick the number 1 overall. I can't even say it. You get on my nerves, you old man.
What? You asked me a question. I gave you an answer. Okay. You don't like the answer? Okay. I can't help that. If you don't want to know what the answer is, don't answer.
No. It's fine. You did that on purpose. It's okay.
Yeah, I did it on purpose. I did it on purpose. You can start. Hey, you're the commissioner of the league. You can put the draft anytime you like.
That's what I want to find out. That's what I want to find out.
Okay,
I'm about to hit everybody up. I'm gonna hit everybody up.
Okay.
Because I want to see. I really want to see.
Look. I'm not one for draft early. I told you that.
No one's drafting early. I just want to get the draft picks done.
Okay. Position you're talking about, right?
Yes.
So the people in the league, it must be trustworthy because if they don't like the draft position, they're going to drop out.
Well, that's why I'm saying who's going to come back. I pretty much have a good feeling about everybody. We know that Sammy, his cousin Q, Christopher is the only one I don't know, but that is Sammy's dude. But Dave, Jay, aka Truck.
What about
George
Kunas?
Oh, he said he's coming back.
Are you sure about that? I thought
he said he was.
Matter of fact, he got offended so a lot.
No, he said he was. See, that's the. He don't pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. He don't pay attention. He said he's coming back. He said he's coming back.
Okay.
Right. So we's gonna get it popping.
Okay.
We's gonna get it popping.
This is only March. Okay. You want to put the draft position out there early?
I hope that you get number 1 because I'm gonna drag you. Matter of fact, I want you to get number 3. I want you to get number 3 because you said if he's at number 3, you're gonna get him. I want you to get number 3. We're gonna do it live.
I'll tell you what. If he's number 7 or further down, I'll grab him. because
Of course.
he's a good value, just like he was last season.
Yes, he was
I'm
good
just
value
saying.
at number 7,
I'm just saying.
but not the number one. But
Jerry
not the
got him.
number one.
Oh, Jerry got him.
Exactly. Lucky I ain't running this show because I'd play that piece over and over again.
Oh,
I don't know what I'm saying. I don't, but I know I'm saying. Yeah, that's you too.
That's right.
That's you too, Mr. Forgetful.
It made sense.
It did make sense. Anyway.
All right. Well, we out of here, people. Next week. Oh, wow, this has been a long show. We've been on air for quite a while. And almost 2.5 hours we've been on this show. Mr. FFP, you got anything to say before we quickly get out of here?
Next Saturday, let's see what we do, because I do what I do, and I do it for you. No technical difficulties on my side, but I'm going to make it ride.
Not lately, except for the dogs, but that's okay. We talk to you later, people. We out of here. See ya.
This dude.